Hello dear students, a very warm welcome to all of you in this virtual class. I am Shweta Sharma from Government Girls Inter College Bareilly, and today I am going to take poem 3 from your English book Beehive, and the title of the poem is Rain on the Roof. So these are the contents of today's class. Previous knowledge, then about the poet, then poem reading, stanza-wise explanation of the poem, new words, rhyming scheme, literary devices, then central idea of the poem, after that important questions of the poem, and finally recapitulation. So, before I start today's class, let me ask you a question. How many seasons do we have? And I know that all of you know the answer. And this is the answer. We have 5 main seasons. They are spring, monsoon, autumn, winter, and summer. And my next question is, which is your favorite season? And I know almost all of you have the same answer, and the answer is monsoon or rainy season. Why is rainy season important? Children, rainy season is very important, especially in our country. As you know that ours is a country where agriculture is the main occupation, and that main occupation of our country depends on this monsoon season or on this rainy season. So this season is very important for farmers and for us also, because it relieves us from the scorching sun. So today we are going to read a poem, Rain on the Roof, which tells us the joys of the rain. Before we start today's poem, let us learn something about the poet. And the poet of the poem is Coates Kinney. Coates Kinney was an American lawyer, politician, journalist, and of course a poet. He was born on November 24th, 1826 in Penn Yan, New York, United States. And after leading a very successful life, he died on January 25th, 1904 in Ohio, United States. And these are his important literary works: Hyuka, Lyrics of the Ideal and the Real, Mist of Fire, a trilogy and some eclogues, and of course Rain on the Roof. Rain on the Roof is a very beautiful poem composed by Coates Kinney, and this poem is our today's topic. So first of all, let me read this poem for you loud and clear. When the humid shadows hover over all the starry spheres, and the melancholy darkness gently weeps in rainy tears. What a bliss to press the pillow of a cottage chamber bed and lie listening to the patter of the soft rain overhead. Every tinkle on the shingles has an echo in the heart, and 1,000 dreamy fancies into busy being start, and 1,000 recollections weave their air threads into woof as I listen to the patter of the rain upon the roof. Now in memory comes my mother, as she used in years agone, to regard the darling dreamers, she left them till the dawn. Oh, I feel her fond look on me as I listen to this refrain, which is played upon the shingles by the patter of the rain. So children, this is the poem, and now I will explain the poem stanza wise. This is the first stanza. When the humid shadows hover over all the starry spheres, and the melancholy darkness gently weeps in rainy tears. Children, what is humid shadows? Humid shadows is actually the clouds, and hover is moving here and there or roaming here and there. As you know that clouds keeps on moving or keeps on roaming here and there in the sky in the monsoon season over all the starry spheres. Starry spheres is stars all around, the group of stars. It means it is a scene of night. In the night, when the clouds are roaming here and there in the sky, they are called as humid shadows because they are full of humidity. They are full of droplets, and soon they are going to rain. And the melancholy darkness gently weeps in rainy tears. Melancholy darkness. What is melancholy? Melancholy is sadness. The meaning of melancholy is sad. And darkness is, you know, darkness is the main characteristic of the night. So, the night is very dark, but for the poet, it is melancholy. Actually, the poet has used a figure of speech personification here because the darkness is never melancholy. Because the darkness has no mood. We humans have mood. So, personification is there, or we can also call it transferred epithet. Epithet is actually an adjective, and when an adjective is used from one noun to another, or the adjective is transferred from one noun to the another noun, the figure of speech transferred epithet is used there. And gently weeps in rainy tears. For the poet, this rain is not merely the rain, but this rain is actually the tears of these humid shadows or of these clouds. And they are crying. Why? Because they are full of sorrow. They are full of sadness. A sadness is there. But what is the mood of the poet? Let us see. What a bliss to press the pillow of a cottage chamber bed and lie listening to the patter of the soft rain overhead. Actually, the poet is in normal mood. He is not at all sad. He is not at all happy also. But he is actually enjoying the sound of the rain. You may put a question, why this rain is making a sound? Because dear children, you all are living in pakka houses. But if you have ever noticed the sound of these droplets on the tin roofs, then you can understand these lines. The poet is actually lying in a chamber or in his bedroom which has a tin roof, and because of that tin roof this sound of rain is being produced. This word patter is used for the sound of the rain. And the poet is lying in his cozy bed with a pillow. and he is pressing the pillow. He is enjoying that moment, and he is listening to the sound of the rain. So if you try, you can visualize these lines. You can visualize the scene that the poet is lying in his bedchamber. He is enjoying the rain, and he is actually lost in the sound of the rain. So I find that these lines are really beautiful lines. And the second stanza, every tinkle on the shingles has an echo in the heart, and 1,000 dreamy fancies into busy being start. And 1,000 recollections weave their air threads into woof as I listen to the patter of the rain upon the roof. Children, what is this tinkle on the shingles? This is actually the sound of the rain. And in this phrase, tinkle on the shingles, the figure of speech onomatopoeia is used. Has an echo in the heart and 1,000 dreamy fancies. Dreamy fancies, again the transferred epithet is used here, into busy being start. And 1,000 recollections weave their air threads into woof. What is a woof? Woof is actually used in the loom. As I listen to the patter of the rain upon the roof. The patter is again onomatopoeia, the figure of speech, because wherever the sound is used, the figure of speech onomatopoeia is used there. So look at these beautiful lines. These lines are full of sound. Actually, they are lines, but if you read them wholeheartedly, you will find that a very sweet sound is being produced through these words by the poet. Every tinkle on the shingle has an echo in the heart. As I have already told you that the poet is lying in his bedchamber and he is enjoying the sound of the rain droplets on his roof. So every sound of the raindrop is creating an echo. Echo is actually the reflection of sound. So every sound of the raindrop is creating an echo in the heart of the poet, and through these echoes 1,000 dreamy fancies, they automatically takes place. It means the poet is dreaming. He has started dreaming 1,000 or a numberless beautiful things into busy being start. Why busy being start? Because in our life we are like robots. We are leading a robotic life. We have no time for these natural beauties. We have no time to feel these natural beauties. We have no time to enjoy these bounties of nature. But as the poet is lying in his bedchamber, and luckily he is free, and at this free time when rain is falling on his rooftop, he is enjoying, he is lost in the sounds of these raindrops, and he has started dreaming a lot many things. And 1,000 recollections weave their air threads into woof. And he is not only dreaming, but he is like imagining a lot many memories, a lot many or a numberless memories are coming to his mind, because he is sitting idle. His mind is free from all worries of the world. he is not at all busy at that time, and in that free time all the previous memories have come to his mind. They have gathered there, and he is enjoying all these memories, all these dreams. As I listen to the patter of the rain upon the roof, and the poet is again say that as I listen to the patter, as I listen to the sweet sound of these raindrops on my rooftop, I cannot control myself and I start dreaming a lot many things. I start these many things which I must have forgotten due to the busyness. A lot many memories have come to my mind because I am free now. And these memories, these dreams, they are giving me the utmost pleasure. So children, I am sure you must have also enjoyed this stanza because this stanza is also really beautiful. Here, let me ask you a question. Have you ever enjoyed these things? Have you ever enjoyed the rain? Have you ever found yourself lost in memories or found yourself lost in the dreams, as you all are small children right now, and you must have decided your aims, what you are going to become in your life. So at these very free times, we start dreaming about our ambitions. And now the third stanza. This is also very sweet. Now in memory comes my mother, as she used in years agone, to regard the darling dreamers, ere she left till the dawn. Oh, I feel her fond look on me as I list to this refrain, which is played upon the shingles by the patter of the rain. Children, as the poet is a grown-up man now, and his mother is no more alive, or his mother is no more with him, so all of a sudden he has started memorizing, he has started remembering his mother, and he lost in the memories when he was a young child and his mother used to look at him with the utmost love. Children, you all must have experienced that love. You must have noticed, you must have seen that kind of love in your parents' eye, in the eyes of your mother as well as your father. So children, I want to draw your attention towards two important words here. The first word of line 4. This is actually the old poetic use, and actually this is before. In Old English, at times the poet used to use only ERE for before. And the second such word is the third word in this sixth line, list, L-I-S-T. Actually this word is listen. This is not list, but this is listen. This is also old poetic use. We can also call such usage as the poetic liberty. Actually children, while composing a poem, a poet has got some liberty. He changes a few words for the rhyming of the poem. And again the sound of raindrop is used. So again the onomatopoeia, shingles, patter, etc. These sounds are there. Now the explanation of these lines. Now in memory comes my mother, as she used in years ago. As I told you that the poet is a grown-up man now and his mother is no more with him. He is no more alive. But all of a sudden, he started remembering him. He started remembering the pleasant time he spent with his mother. When he was a child, he also used to enjoy rain, and his mother used to look at him with the utmost love, with the utmost care, with the utmost affection into her eyes. Oh, I feel her fond look on me. The poet is feeling her fond look. Fond is actually liking, and here the fond is actually affectionate look. Her look, which was full of affection, her affectionate look on me, like he want to say that he remember that how lovingly, how affectionately his mother used to look at him when he was a young child. As I listen to his refrain, which is played upon the shingles by the patter of the rain. And as the sound of these rain droplets is coming into his ears, he is totally lost in the memories of his lost mother. So children, these were the stanza-wise explanation. And now, these are the new words which are used in this poem. Have a quick look. Humid, wet, starry, full of stars, melancholy, sad, bliss, happiness, cottage, small hut, chamber, room, patter, a sound of drops, overhead, above head, tinkle, ringing sound, woof, the threads woven across the loom, agone, past time, I have already told you before, shingles, small round stones, dawn, early morning, the time of early morning, echo, reflected sound, dreamy, dreamlike or full of dreams, fancies, imagination or fantasies, recollection, memories, and finally weave, pattern of weaving. So these are the new words. You must learn these new words. And now the rhyming scheme. Children, rhyming scheme is very important in any poem, and the rhyming scheme of this poem, Rain on the Roof, is A, B, C, B. It means line number 2 and 4 are rhyming to each other, and 6 and 8 are rhyming to each other. So I have made a list for you. In stanza 1, the last word of line number 2, spheres, and the last word of line number 4, tears, are rhyming. And in the same way, all these words, let me read all these words for you, all these pairs of rhyming words for you. Spheres, tears, bed, overhead. In stanza 2, heart, start, woof, and roof. And in stanza 3, agone, dawn, refrain, and rain. So these are the pairs which are rhyming in this poem, and the rhyming scheme of this poem is A, B, C, B. And now the very important part of poem, that is literary devices. If we talk about the language and style of the poem, it is although simple but very impressive. when I was reading the poem, you must have noticed that the style is really impressive. It leaves a deep impression on the heart and mind of us. Old poetic words are for before and list for listen. If we talk about figure of speech, personification is used in melancholy darkness and transferred epithet is used in melancholy darkness and dreamy fancies. Onomatopoeia is used in patter, tinkle on the shingles, etc. And alliteration is used at various places. Starry spheres, memories, comes my mother, darling dreamers, etc. And children, now the summary of the poem, which we call central idea of the poem. The poet talks about the joy of sleep that comes through gentle rain to compensate the sadness in the atmosphere due to humidity. Like a small child, he can sleep in his cottage listening to the music being created by droplets of rain falling on the rooftop. Each raindrop creates an echo in the poet's heart, filling it with thousands of fantasies. While listening to the musical sound of the rain, he remembers his mother, how she used to admire him during his childhood. It's not just the pleasant memories, but sad memories too came across the poet's thoughts all the while he listened to the echo of the rain falling on his rooftop. And now the important questions. What is a bliss for the poet in the poem? Second question is, what does the poet dream of? Third is, how does the poet describe the falling rain in the poem? The fourth question is the poet now a child? Is his mother still alive? And the fifth question is, what is the single major memory that comes to the poet? Who are the darling dreamers he refers to? Children, these are the important questions. Please note them down. And now the recapitulation. Children, let me explain this poem once again quickly. Actually, this poem is about the sound of rain droplets on the roof of the bed chamber of the poet. The poet is lying in his bed with his pillow and he is enjoying the rain. He is dreaming, he is remembering a lot many things. Then all of a sudden he started remembering his lost mother, and then he lost in the memory of his mother, and finally the poet ends the poem. So this was a very beautiful poem. I hope you all must have enjoyed this poem and of course today's class. Thank you and have a nice time.